It's time to beat the clock. Lights of Broadway, sights of Broadway, sounds of Broadway all around. And there above shines the name Sylvania, pioneering light, sight, and sound. Finer products, better products, tested quality. Made for you by Sylvania, pioneer for half a century. Beat the clock, brought by Sylvania. Beat the clock to entertain you. It's time to play Beat the Clock.
Now here is America's #1 clock watcher, Bud Collyer. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again to Beat the Clock, the show where you're going to have the time of your life playing against time for big-time prizes. And thank you, Bern Bennett. Now, let's come over here and re-meet our friends from last week. It was Mr. and Mrs. Cowan, I believe. Am I correct? Mr. and Mrs. John Cowan, as a matter of fact. And you live where, John?
Bayshore, Long Island.
In Bayshore, Long Island. Step up a little closer. We want to hear you over these microphones. As I recall, you had 2 children, didn't you? And they were here last week. They're here backstage tonight. Isn't that so? What are their names again?
John and Julianne.
They're watching on a set back there. Just for the fun of it, why don't you wave at them in that camera? Go ahead. They're watching. They can see you waving at them right there. All right, John, what is it you do again? You're a clerk in a stock brokerage house?
That's right.
I see. You know, you were here last week, so you saw our bonus stunt get knocked off at only $300. The big balloon in the pail up at the top of the post. So we got a new one tonight. Might be for you. It might be for anybody, wherever the bell happens to ring during the show. But as for your problem, you recall it was hopping a couple of balls over a hurdle on each side and sort of exchanging. And I talked to you backstage. Did you practice it all at home?
Just a little bit.
Just a little, huh? Well, let's see how well you learn. Now, come on over here, both of you, if you will. And Miss Cowan, if you'll step over on this side of me, right over here. Mr. Cowan, you stay right on this side. You remember what it was, but for those who weren't watching last week, I'll show you once again what it was. Those 2 volleyballs over there are to be taken by Miss Cowan and deposited over on this side. Those 2 over there are to be deposited on this side. You don't have to get them in the box covers. Those are just there to keep them from rolling around. You understand? And as you recall, the thing we said to you was that you could not touch the balls with your hands. But you've got to go down on the floor, pick them up between your knees, get over here to this hurdle, and whoop, get them over the line there. So once you have those 2 balls on that side, you have those 2 on this side, we'll stop the clock, and you'll beat the clock, and it's the $200 clock we're talking about. Okay, Mr. and Miss Cowan? Are you ready? Take a look at the clock. See how many seconds you have. 45 to transfer those 2 balls on either sides there. Are you ready? Go. Wait a minute. Hold it. Now, you can get at it. Just push it back on the other side. That's it. All right, you ready again? Go. There's one over there. There's another one. Okay. Don't touch the ball with your hands. No, come on, John, now. Wait a minute, stop the clock. Get that ball back. He's got his over. Come on, that's it. Ready. Here we go now, Miss Cowan. It's all yours. He's all through. You ready? Go. Take it easy now. You got time. Atta girl! Stop the clock. That will never, believe me, that will never be a substitute for volleyball, I'm sure of it. It's a little too hard on what ails you in any event. Well, I bet the kids were cheering like mad back there, don't you? Of course, you know what that does? They got you through the $200 clock, and we'll find out what your jackpot clock is in just 1 minute. Mr. and Mrs. John Cowan, you come to the jackpot clock. So it's all yours, Mrs. Cowan. If you will step up on this little platform down toward the end of it and stand facing the audience, I'll tell you when to turn around. Don't turn around until I do. John, you can't help in any way except by holding real good thoughts for that lady of yours, okay? All right, now, here we go. In back of this curtain is our famous magnetic jackpot board with all of the words of a famous saying or quotation, and they're all mixed up out of order. You move them around on that board, Miss Cowan, you remember? Until you get them back in order so they spell out the saying or quotation we're after in 20 seconds from the time I say go, okay? Don't turn around, I say so. Open the curtain. Let the audience take a look at it. Turn around. Go. Stop the clock. She did it. Hey! John Cowan, I'm proud of her. Give her a kiss for one, boy. Oh, that's wonderful. And I tell you, There's a little secret in the way Miss Cowan did that, and all of you who ever get on our show might well profit by it. She didn't get panicked and start moving those words around right away. She waited, she looked at it, she figured out what it was, and then she just took her time and she got those words where they belong. Good for not getting nervous. And now, let's see what you've won. Just take a look over here.
It's the new 1953 Sylvania big screen 21-inch television receiver, the Huntington, with new, better-than-ever halo light, the soft, cool frame of light that's kinder to your eyes, plus the sensational Stratopower 508 chassis for distant fringe area reception of all VHF and UHF channels. This is but one of the many new Sylvania models, the top TV for 53. Congratulations, Mr. and Mrs. Cowan. You have just won Sylvania's jackpot prize.
My congratulations to you, too. Who are our next contestants, Roxanne?
But we have Mr. and Mrs. Jenkins from New York City.
Oh, he's a corporal in the Marines, huh? You'd never know it, what we've done to you, Corporal. That's a shame. How long have you been married?
2.5 years.
2.5 years. And do you have any little Jenkinses? Well, you've been in the in the Marines how long?
About 5 years.
I see. And have you just come back, or are you just going some?
Back in Korea.
You were in Korea, were you? How long were you over there?
13 months.
That's enough in anybody's book, isn't it,
Yes,
boy,
sir.
huh? Well, thank God you're back. That's all I can say. And our prayer goes out to all the others who are over there, and we hope that a speedy return for them to their families is in the cards in the very near future. Okay, boy, now, Mr. and Miss Jenkins, we're going to try you on a little way of making a bed, you know, domestic habits we try to teach our little contestants. So suppose you both come over here with me, if you will. And, Corporal Jenkins, inasmuch as you've had a hard time there in Korea, lie down, boy. Just kick those scuffs off and just stretch out here, fella. Take it easy. There we are, fella. Hey, boy, that's good, huh?
Wonderful.
Yeah, no foxhole was ever like that, was it, huh? All right, boy. Now, you just relax. Although you can help your wife in any way that you want to, but you must always remain lying down, in a lying position. Always. You must be lying down all times. Because you know what she has to do? She has to turn this mattress over with you there and then get you back on top of it on the other side. Oh, yeah, it is. You see what it is? Huh? You don't? Come over here now. Come on. How do you turn it with him on it? Well, he can help. He can help in any way with his hands, with his feet, do anything he wants. The only thing is get that mattress turned over and have him wind up lying on the other side of it, okay? Take a look at the clock, see how many seconds you have. 45 seconds. Don't act so resigned to your fate. Now, pitch in and do it. Are you ready? Go. Because we're going to walk you right on over here. You've gone through the $100 clock, and if you both come over here with me now, we'll find out what your problem is on the $200 clock. By the way, Corporal, didn't find out what your first name was.
Robert.
Robert?
Yes, sir.
Robert Jenkins. And here comes... That's all right. We didn't hit him. He's had worse things than that happening to him. Okay, well, you step up back right over there, if you please, Bob. And Betty is going to get you all fixed up. You don't mind, do you, if you turn him loose back there with Betty and Peggy? Okay. Incidentally, Miss Jenkins, if you'll step back here with me, that's... Jenkins, right? You live right here in New York City, do you? I want to tell you there are other cities, you know, who watch our show, too. And we have a whole lot of people in the audience tonight from Waterbury, Connecticut, who all can. I think there are over 400 of them. Welcome to you. Awful nice to have you here with us tonight. I understand they got a special train and everything just to come down and see our show. They did it last year, too, and it's awful nice to know that you think that much of it. Okay, now here we go on a little problem here for the $200 clock for these nice people. And this is exactly what it amounts to. If you will step up alongside of me here, Mrs. Jenkins, you'll find out what it is your husband has to do. Peggy, let's have that little cup there, can we? Thank you very much. Now, I want you to put that in your teeth, if you will. Don't hold it too far. That's the idea. Now, what you have to do with it is just this. Will you get down on your knees? You don't look like you trust me at all there, Corporal. You know that? Because what you have to do is to catch, starting with this one down here. I think you might as well start here and go right down in a row. You have to catch one of these cups. You see, bend right down, bend over there. Catch one in there, you see, like that. Back away from it. Then go down and catch another one in here so that it's in that one. And then go down the back of this one and catch this one in there. So you have 3 cups stacked up in there. Do you get the general idea? Mm-hmm. Okay, that's really all there is to it. It isn't really too difficult. And the reason why I say you have to catch them is simply this. Your wife is going to blow them over to you so that you can catch them. You can't touch them with your hands at any time. And she blows them over with these little whipped cream containers. Come on. Ready whip is what it is. There you are. You stand as close as you want. Stand right in here. I'm going to move this back down here so your supply will be right alongside you all the time. If it loses force, well, you just pick up another one. Take a look at the clock. Now, see how many seconds you have to beat it. 30 seconds to get 3 cups in there. Are you ready? You ready, Corporal? Oh, wait a minute. Whoa, that won't do. Oh, he's knocking him off. He doesn't know what he's doing. Okay, boy. Are you ready? Go. For you now, Mr. Jenkins. You come back over here with me. We'll get your husband all cleaned up and return him to you all shipshape as ever before. Now it comes your turn. Try for our jackpot clock. Will you step up on that little platform right at the end and turn and face the audience, if you will? In back of that curtain is our jackpot board. On it are all of the words of a famous saying or quotation. They're all mixed up. You got to move them around on that board and get them unmixed in 20 seconds from the time I say go, okay? All right, now don't turn till I tell you to. Open the curtain. Let our audience take a look. Okay, turn around. Go. You got almost the sense of it, and you got only about 8 seconds to go. Oh, I'm awfully sorry. You didn't beat the clock. The clock beat you. It should have been, believe me, if all those endearing young charms. Believe me, if all those endearing young charms. But you did mighty well here, Mrs. Jenkins, and your fine corporal husband. Step in here, because I want you to see what you've won. Just take a look over here.
Corporal and Mrs. Jenkins, you've won 2 wonderful prizes. First, a portable Masco recorder, ideal for home and office. You can record and play back your favorite radio or TV programs or your own voice on your Masco tape recorder. And 2 luxurious universal electric blankets with dual controls, complete with a lovely moth-proof chest for year-round storage, which also doubles as a hassock. Congratulations, Corporal Mrs. Jenkins. You've just won Beat the Clock prizes worth more than $200.
My congratulations to you, too. Very happy holiday season to you. You'll find your corporal backstage. Roxanne, who do we have now?
But we have Mr. and Mrs. Landis from Boston, Massachusetts.
Thank you very much, Roxanne. Don't get any first names tonight. It's Landis, Landis.
Right.
And what's your first name, Mr. Landis?
Jim.
Jim Landis. Well, that's short to the point, isn't it? How about your first name?
Dot.
Dot? Jim and Dot. 2 short names. Well, now, let's see. How long you been married?
1 year.
1 year. And you're a graduate student in sociology here at Columbia now.
That's right,
What do you
sir.
plan to do with that education?
I plan to either go into social research or stay in the university and teach.
Either one, huh? That's right. That's satisfactory with you, is it, Miss Landis? Good enough. Well, after having just welcomed you, I don't know what Roxanne's doing running around here like mad, but in any event, I want to take time, if I may, to welcome to our network a very wonderful addition to our network. The people that watch our show, it happens to be down in Austin, Texas, and it's KTBC TV, and we're mighty happy to have you with us, believe me. A very sincere and warm welcome. Hope you enjoy having us as much as we enjoy having you. Okay, now we'll find out what your problem is on the $100 clock. Going to keep you on tenterhooks just a minute. Mr. Landis, let's find out now what we... as a matter of fact, I'm going to let you initiate your husband into some of the charms that women have. Come on over here with me, if you will, both of you. Now, if you'll get on this side of me, Mrs. Landis, Mr. Landis, Jim and Dot, stand, that's the idea. We're going to give you each a girdle. There you are. There's a girdle for you, see? Now, let me tell you what your problem is. As a matter of fact, will this slip off? I think maybe I better take and hold it for you, huh? Okay, that's the way I get a lot of loot on this show. Okay, here's what it is. When I say go, you see, I want you to put that girdle on over your head, pull it down over your body, and get it out off over your feet. At the same time as you are doing that, you are to put that girdle on over his feet and pull it up over his body and get it off over his head. There has to pass somewhere in between. No, it's not impossible. Every one of these stunts has been tried and tested. We try one ourselves, and if they can't be done, we don't use them. So it can be done. It can be done in the time that we've allotted to it. Just work fast, that's all. And don't you care how he feels, honey. Just get it on and off there. Okay? You have to put it on his feet. Slip it up over his body, get it past that one somewhere in between, either under it or over it. I don't care which. And then off his head. Meantime, he'll be working this one down and over it off his feet. You understand? You can do it, can't you? Sure. Take a look at the clock. See how many seconds you have. 35 whole seconds. All right, are you ready? Go. You over the head. You over the head. Come on. All right. Hey, the bonus! The bonus! You guys have the bonus! Both of you come out here with me. We got a brand new bonus worth $100 tonight. Come on, girls, bring out that heavy new bonus. See, we have to have this table for the girls to bring this out. The articles involved are so heavy. Thank you very much. Thank you, Peggy. All right, now, here's what I want to get on this side of me, Jim. This is one in which we're going to allow either one of you, whichever one wants to, can try this, or you can stop in the middle of it if you feel you're not doing it too well and hand it over to the other to take over from there. I don't care, whichever way you want to do it. What you do is we have a plastic cup, and for those of you who might want to try this at home, it's one of those soft plastic cups with a square bottom. The idea? Okay, you place that on a tennis racket, any tennis racket, and your problem is to get it standing upright on its little bottom so that it winds up standing just like that. Get the idea? That's all you have to do. And you have to do it in how many seconds? 30 seconds. Now, who wants to try it first? You can do it. All right, Jim. Take a hold of one hand only. One hand only now. Are you ready? Go. Hold it. Pick it up quick, Jim. Go. You didn't beat the clock. The clock, boy, you came close to it. I thought you had it. You had the idea there, I'll tell you. You weren't knocking it too hard, and that's the idea. Did you see that fellow last week get that balloon up there? Yes, were you watching the show? He just set it right on his head, just went boing. I think he played for the Knickerbockers or something. I don't know. All right, that was only a bonus anyway. $100. It's now worth $200 for next week, and you still move up to your $200 clock, and this involves a steady hand for you, Jim. So if you'll come over here with me, Dot, you just stand by here and wish him good luck, okay? Now, here I have a little thing for you that is a top, like a lot of kids will be getting at Christmas, you see. And we have a special little cardboard thing here for you. Now, you fit that on either hand, I don't care which. And with the other hand, you start it spinning. In the meantime, you have certain something to do. So, Peggy, would you put those oatmeal boxes out there? That's the idea. There's one, there's two, there's three, and there's four, okay? Now, you can stack those boxes as you see. One could be stacked one on top of the other, couldn't they? Without any trouble at all. So what you do is this. You start this top spinning like this, you see? Get her spinning good. Then, while this is spinning on this little cardboard, but you can't hold it like I am, you see, you got to let go of it like that. You go over there with the other hand, keeping this spinning on here, pile that box up, that on top of it, that on top of that, and that on top of that. Now, mind you, I don't care what you do with those boxes or which one you stack on top of which. You can move them around anywhere you want to, just so long as this top is still spinning and has not fallen off. It must still be spinning and still be on the cardboard within the time allotted. Take a look and see what that time is, boy. 45 seconds. Which hand do you want to put that on? Your left? Okay. I won't say go until you start it spinning and you say you're ready. Are you ready? Go ahead. Start it spinning. You tell me when you think you got it going, all right. Say when. All right, go. You can't do that. No. Once it's spinning, you gotta just leave it spin. Otherwise, you'll have to start over. That's it, boy. Come on, take it easy. Don't let it throw you. That's the boy. That's it. That's it. You got two to go. Only two to go. Only two to go. That's it. That's the boy. One more to go. One more. That's it. frankly admit there are easier ways of doing that, but they're not nearly as much fun. You know that. All right. Oh, incidentally, one of your prizes is going to be the 2 girdles. I want you to take them home as a little souvenir. If you want to have a party game at home, it's a wonderful way of getting people to know each other, believe me. All right. Now comes your turn at the jackpot try. So if you don't mind stepping down at the far end of this platform, and your fine husband, Jim, he can't help you in any way, step down just a little ways there, Dot, if you will, and face the audience. Don't turn around until I tell you to. I will open the curtain now so our audience can take a look at it. Open the curtain. It's one of our famous sayings, a well-known saying or quotation, and you've got to unscramble the way the words are there, move them around on the board until they spell out the saying or quotation we're after. Okay, Dot? 20 seconds. Turn around. Take a look. Go. Stop the clock. You wrapped that one up in fine style, Mr. and Mrs. Landis, and you've beaten our jackpot clock, so let's see what you've won. Just take a look over here.
It's the new 1953 Sylvania big screen 21-inch television receiver, the Huntington, with new, better-than-ever halo light, the soft, cool frame of light that's kinder to your eyes, plus the sensational Stratopower 508 chassis for distant fringe area reception of all VHF and UHF channels. This is but one of the many new Sylvania models, the top TV for 53. Congratulations, Mr. and Mrs. Landis. You have just won Sylvania's jackpot prize.
Good night. Roxanne, whom do we have now? Ooh, a family's landing here. How about this?
Bud, I'd like you to meet Roger and Marjorie and Mr. and Mrs. George Kearns from Flushing, Long Island.
Thank you very much, Roxanne. Mr. and Mrs. George Kern, Kern of Flushing, Long Island. Mighty nice to have you here, George. What do you do for a living?
I'm an auditor, sir.
An auditor.
Yes.
And how about you, Miss Kern? You housewife for this
I'm a
family.
housewife.
Are you? I can see that you keep mighty busy. Come on over here. Now, let's talk to you again. What's your name?
Roger.
Roger, how are you, boy? Shake hands here. How old are you?
8.
What are you going to be when you grow up, son?
I don't know.
Have made up your mind yet?
No.
Want to introduce me to your sister over here? What's her name?
Margie.
Come here, Margie, and say hello to me. How are you, dear?
Fine.
Good. And how old are you?
11.
You have any plans for your future?
No.
None at all? You done all your Christmas shopping yet? What'd you buy for Mommy? You can't what?
Can't tell you.
You can't tell me. All right. You write me a letter and let me know what it was, will you? And I hope it's a wonderful surprise for her. Now, you cheer Mom and Pop on. But right now, before we find out what your first problem is, Mr. and Mrs. Kern, now away we go. And our first little problem for you on the $100 clock. Do you ever ski, George?
No, sir.
We're going to teach you how right now. Both of you come over here with me, will you? And kids, you can just stand by there and watch. Now, we have a sort of a little miniature slalom course, as they might call it here. If you'll step up here, you'll see why we put those sneakers on your feet, Miss Kern. Stand right on that little piece of cardboard there, facing the audience, if you will. Now, just face this way. That's it. Now, you find that if you jump on that, you can make it move. Try it. Go ahead. That's the idea. Now, that's what you have to do. Those are instead of skis. And with that, and doing just that, you do a little slalom. You go in here, you go out there, and you go out there. Meantime, you, George, you're doing the same thing on this one. There's only one thing different about the way you do it. You do yours backwards. You see? Now, you come in here, and there. Turn around with your back to your wife. No, you don't have to turn the cardboard around. Just stand that way. That's the idea. Okay, and you just wind up where your wife is. She winds up where you are in how many seconds? 35 seconds. You ready? Go. Come on, George. That's it, boy. That's it. Still got 7 seconds. 6 seconds. 5. Oh, we make them exercise, don't we, kids, huh? It's good for them. It's good for what ails you. Well, of course, we have other little tricks in store for you now, and you move up to the $200 clock. And your $200 clock is something we will have to keep in abeyance for you. I won't tell you anything about it, except it's something very handy in the kitchen. Now, you can guess what that might be. But can you come back next week?
Yes,
You'll
we
pick
can.
up right where you left off, kids. You help them now, okay?
Yes.
All week. And we'll see them next week. They'll be our first contestants. And until then, this is Bud Collyer speaking for Sylvania, hoping that next time may be your time to beat the clock. Good night, everybody.
Right side of town.
association with the CBS television network. Roxanne's Gown, a Hannah Troy original. Furs by Kelly and Sue Garrett. This is Vern Bennett reminding you to tune in every week at the same time for Beat the